So let's get into one of the headlines that just broke this afternoon. Our long national nightmare is over. You no longer have to hear us talking about the case of Apple versus the FBI for now. According to court documents, TechCrunch reports that the FBI has withdrawn its request from Apple since their outside source is apparently able to crack the iPhone themselves. So, yeah, I guess it's all over and we can stop thinking about privacy. Right, Scott?
I'm guessing it is only over in the sense that the urgency of it feels a little bit backed off. But I was less weirded out by the whole scenario than I am now, because now what I'm hearing is, well, we really need them to do this. It's anti-American for them not to let us get into this phone. It's bad for them not to write a way for us to hack into it. And they're essentially rebelling against the people and the republic. And that's really kind of the claims that we started to hear levied against Apple. And Apple's like, no, this is about privacy. It's about precedence. And it's about, not being compelled to create what is in effect speech for the government to give them what they need. And at that stage, I was like, all right, sounds like the basis of an argument on both sides. And I'm very interested to kind of follow and see what happens. And then it just felt like the FBI was like, never mind. We found this Israeli company. They totally figured it out. It's fine now. Forget about it. It's good. We're all good now. And that weirds me out more, because what that tells me is, well, did you really feel like Apple needed to do something here? Or was this just a sort of pandering to people who are sort of anti-terrorism to get all over Apple's case to get what you needed done? But you don't really feel this way. All you really needed was somebody to be able to hack the thing. And now that you got it from an outside source, that makes me really nervous about who's going to, who can hack and who can't hack certain things. So as far as I'm concerned, it just got weirder and harder and more of a nuanced and complicated conversation than it even was, 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel a little more paranoid. I mean, they say they've accessed the data that was on this phone. We don't know if they did, for sure. I mean, we just, we tend to trust the government that it's not going to lie. But you wonder why they were, like you were saying, why were they doing this in the first place? And then, it is good news that Apple doesn't have to create this government OS that they were being asked to create that would, we all agree, make us all more insecure. But then what happens next? I mean, next time something like this happens, are they going to ask them to do this again?
Yeah, to me, I'm not known for I may be known for them, but I'm not known for them being quality. I don't do great metaphors. But I'm going to use one here real quick.
Oh, good.
To me, this was like a homeowner being approached and said, hey, we're pretty sure that dog you had that bit the neighbor kid, the reason he did it is he had some crazy, weird dog food in the house. And we need to see where that dog food. So we need to get in your house. And the homeowner says, well, no, you don't. You can't come in here. That's a bad example because you could do a probable cause warrant and get into a house. But anyway, they basically say, you can't get in here. And they said, well, no, we need to. And here's all the reasons why. And they got the community all upset and everybody's having a town meeting and the mayor's getting involved and everybody's freaking out and has an opinion. And they do it during an election year. And then in the end, they just like, never mind. What? You don't need the dog food anymore? No, we're good. I found another neighbor. He's got an answer for us. Like, that would just be weird. And I'd want to move out of the neighborhood. So none of it makes me comfortable. All of it makes me more nervous than it did before. And, like I said before, I don't think the conversation is even close to being over. It is going to get a lot more complicated. I don't think, the nice thing about this argument was, well, here's one side of the argument, here's the other side. And it felt very court-worthy, like a very, this felt like a thing that was going to be a case to work on, and it might take years, but you could take case law and you could apply it, and it was going to be a thing you could dissect and disseminate and understand. Now I think it just gets more muddy and complicated. And I don't even know what Apple, I guess hasn't really done much of a response, but I'd be very curious to see if they ever say anything. If Tim Cook comes out and says, well, despite this is still our, this is our stance. We're going to do this and this and this, and, see what Apple says to this. But the whole thing just strikes me as a little odd.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I do like your crazy dog food metaphor, though. I think that works.
Thanks.
We'll go with that one.
All right.